Mic check. Mic looks good. Got a little bit of a musing here. Let me zoom in a bit. No, it doesn't work. Okay, we can't zoom in. No big deal. Wanted to show off a little bit of what might come from both the Seahawks and the Patriots. Sort of amoeba. They've got really good middle linebackers, really good fast darty players on the outside. I expect these two defenses to do some remarkable things today. So just doing a couple shapes, couple formations that come up. First one, basically I diagrammed the most common offensive play, right? These combinations, double slants, right? So we have different levels to this, makes it really easy to read. Then we've got simple combination. This combination is probably the most common, apart from double slants or double outs, you know, something like this, a paired combo. Get a little rub, make a little space, and then that either clears out here, or if we have a high safety, then we tend to penetrate right underneath them. But a defense that works out pretty well against everything that's getting run. We can call it 42, which is kind of like your base 4-3 nickel, except this is the base, right? This is what gets played more often. The 11 personnel, one running back, one tight end is the most common formation that we see in football. So what we're basically going to be doing is taking the cue off the number of tight ends that they bring in and how many people we're going to have lined up over them and what they try to accomplish. And in this formation, basically our three normal linemen, 1, 2, and 3, are coming out. We're always going to have a fourth if there's an extra tight end, right? But the idea is that our third strong one, always going to be the guy that lines up over the tight end. We could color code it like this. Sorry. Going to leave the semblance of a square still behind him so you can see where it comes from. The 4-6 terminology, you have Jack and Bull, right? Instead of Sam and Will for strong and weak. It's more about where you're going to be creating pressure from. But basically by aligning two players or three players down the middle, and this we're kind of recreating that with the middle linebackers, we create imminent threat, right? And in this case, what we're basically trying to do is take these three techniques and create a bracket. Nope, I don't want to grab you. You can see that these guys are really tightly lined, okay? What we're trying to do is create this wall on their side of the line of scrimmage with two different formations. One is to have your, like Aaron Donald, your elite inside rusher, if you have one, can be right over the ball so that you create these one-on-ones. That's what these tight threes do. They kind of force the guards to engage with you. And then you either do it with two middle linebackers, your like Nick Bolton, Cam Chancellor types, Darius Leonard types, that can go in, and you can either overload this single center, or you can put them in a spot where they're stuck looking at you. They've got one hand between their pants, right? And then they're looking up, trying to figure out what to do, and they might miss some assignments that make it much easier for other rushers to get in. So this is the general concept that's going behind it. If we replace the two middle linebackers with the single nose tackle, right? But not your traditional like Vita Vea, like just huge guy, sexy Dexy, not one of these guys that just plugs up space, but someone that you're anticipating actually creating leverage on the inside, so you're forcing the quarterback to play with the back pedal. And one thing that happens with a quarterback in the back pedal is they tend to take their eyes off of what's right behind the defenders. Yes, that pressure is coming there, and quarterbacks get taught, look at where the pressure is coming from, and there might be a gap behind it. But when the pressure is actually going into your lap, it forces you to turn your hips, and that tends to lean you towards seeing towards the outsides, right? And so what we're going to do is kind of force this outside sight on the quarterback and then play this amoeba style in the middle. Now, when we have this bull rusher, right? We want the bull to be out wide, edge set, someone that can go here, really hold this tight side. Same thing on both ends, right? We're trying to hold the middle with either 3 or 4 players, depending on whether or not we've got this double A gap play, or whether or not we have the traditional 46. But the other idea is to take this other edge setter and hit tight ends every single time. And the reason that we're hitting tight ends is because the tight end is going to be the easiest bailout option for these quarterbacks with pressure onto them. Slot receivers and tight ends, they're going to just basically turn their body and try to put a big frame in front of the ball. So by chipping them and then holding the edge on that side, we're accomplishing two things. We're making sure that the run isn't coming to that side because we're already committing someone to that side of the ball, and we basically always have numbers on it. But also we're slowing down whatever route so that if they have some sort of combination, they're always going to get hit by that delay, that half-second delay coming in. So here's one shape to the defense. We end up coming up in a lot of sort of like cover threes out of this formation. You kind of have some buzzes, and basically these players are going to be very malleable, right? These money backer types. We're talking about fast safeties or undersized linebackers, the Telvin Smith, Deion Jones, Nick Bolton type, right? Guys that aren't afraid to come hit, that they're big enough but fast enough, right? They don't necessarily need to be talented defenders. You can find guys like this later in the draft and just plug them in as athletes and ask them and basically figure out this role, because you're going to see how flexible it is and how it's going to appreciate for athletes. Now, again, like I was saying, this middle part, right? Center's going to be overloaded every time. This blitz becomes super effective if we do. If we come down on this blitz, free safety is going to be coming down. Basically, there's always going to be one additional source of pressure, and the key to the defense is always going to be having one more guy in the box than the number of threats that we could have. So you count your 5 linemen, 6, 7, right? If we're talking about 7, we're never going to talk about the linebacker. Then we basically always keep 8 by the box, and you can see these 8 are in the box. All right, and we kind of force them to play inside out. We try to move them from the inside out and play into bubbles where our cover 3 takes advantage. So like I said, Seahawks and Patriots are the ones with the best personnel in the league to do it. I expect them to have super just a really high efficiency with this. Let's see if we can find out. We already got this, double A. I don't have any plays to this. No. I do. I just saved them. Okay. Anyways, let's try to recreate this. So again, most popular formation in football, 11 personnel. This is the play that actually the Seahawks used in the Super Bowl. Malcolm Butler with the pick in the end zone. All right, so the other way to line up, this is more when you have your like Aaron Donald type, DeForest Buckner. Again, we're gonna have these tight 3 formations, these guys plugging up the 3 gap, and the idea is to keep these interior linemen off of your linebackers. All right, and then again, your bull, always wide set outside of the tight end. This locks this tackle into position. So there's really not ever any strength here on this side of the ball, wherever the tight end is. Again, you're always hitting him and you're setting this edge. Then you've got your money backers. Whoops. One in coverage, one weak side, but this is your jack and your cover 3 corners. So again, 8 in the box versus the 8. And you can track based on how many threats. If they bring in an extra tight end, then we're just going to sink in and you're going to see how this guy drops in, and we can drop different formation. This is your traditional 46 defense. The idea is that it empowers this, and this is where the etymology of it came. Was it Joyner? Number 46 for the Bears. This entire defense was set over finding him a hole to be able to hit on the strong side of the play. And basically he just always shadowed over here and made it so that if the run play does go towards the tight end, you've got these 3 guys, again, bracketed up just the same way that we had, right? By going on this exterior shoulder, but tight. You're forcing these guys to bracket this wall. You force them to run around this wall, almost to like force them into a zone run scheme. And then you have more hats than they do, and you have someone, a playmaker like 46. And this is where the Bobby Wagners of the world, Jordan Brooks, this is why Seattle's going to have so much success with this. This is the shade that you end up getting. Now, sometimes you can have a little bit of a mismatch over here, right? If these, especially if this slot receiver is someone quick and darty, you are playing against a money backer. So these guys are fairly athletic. You just need to worry about the over. And that's why you're going to have, when we're talking about like zones, we're going to create outside leverage. And then wherever side we're weaker on, free safety is going to plug in to help. We can also create sort of buzzes from these middle linebackers that can create that extra pocket of protection to force defenders out, or force attackers out. So anyways, just wanted to put the notes in there, and something that I thought of last night about these cornerbacks, and especially when you're in zone and you get to play with your eyes forward. Quarterbacks are taught, and it's perhaps best to describe this with motion. When quarterbacks do their drop, right, and this is all from West Coast formation stuff, Bill Walsh, footstep timing, right? Where they go 1, 2, 3, for example, they always put their weight on their back foot before they go forward as they reach their progressions, right? And what's meant to happen is to have your footwork align either with a hitch or an extra step from the drop back to get weight onto your back foot, transfer it to your forward as you're looking at a target on one side of the field. And the idea is to be here, right to left. I'm looking at that target, right to left, as I'm making a read for 1 and 2. When you're a zone defender, you're going to see my head drop. And each moment that drops, it means that the quarterback is looking at your side to make a play. That's when you break on the ball. Because right then, the ball's either coming or it's not. They're making their progression, and they're going 1 to 2 to 3 and then moving to the other side of the field. If they go 1 to 2 and you see them drop their hat like they're loading, you can break right then. Okay? Because if you break and the ball comes out, you might get a pick. You might get a pick 6. If you break and the ball doesn't come out, that quarterback is unlikely to be looking right there. They're going to start doubting, and they're taught to move to the next progression. So that's where you can get a jump, especially when you're these cover 3 corners, to look at and make those plays. And in this formation where you get a lot of zone, a lot of these money backers that get to play with their eyes forward, they get to do that same thing. Every time the load comes, they can take that step, or they can split step and make sure that they're in position to make these plays. So just wanted to do a little bit of an overview on that, get some ideas down. I'll play some League of Legends. Really fun to watch Sam Howell play, by the way. This guy looks real good. All right, it's Fast Friday. Gonna play some games, get some game reviews in. Insta dodge. All right, we're going to be playing a lot of meta junglers. Let's take a peek over here. We'll go to Lolalytics. If you haven't checked out this site, fantastic resource for what's getting played, how it's getting played, where it's having success. It gives you an idea of, like, if you're a main, how well you can expect to do on a champion. Someone like Rek'Sai, for example, just keeps on performing even though they're knocking nerfs. This is a testament to how good it was. And for frame of reference, last year at Worlds, I couldn't get G2 to let Jankos play Rek'Sai, and they should have. They should have had tons of success. It's one of his best champions, and it was absurdly overpowered. It's still overpowered. It's still getting nerfed here and there. I believe 3 nerfs in a row. So just giving an idea of how resilient this champion has been. Now, this win rate's a little bit inflated because it has a pretty low play rate and largely being buoyed up by one tricks. That said, the one tricks, this number will always be pretty similar. Let's see, what do we... This number is always pretty similar as far as like the top 50 players in the world playing this champion. You can see that there's not many people, not even that many Blitzcrank players, or they don't play it that much. But then you look at this one, this actual one with total games played. Look how little Akshan and Rek'Sai are being played compared to the other guys. So anyways, we're going to go check out jungle. And this is how one tricks are doing on champions. This makes a lot of sense. Silas actually has a tough time on his first clear, but huge scaling advantages. Knowing which paths you can take is good on Silas. Eve, if you're a one trick, you're doing well. I don't recommend picking this champion up because it has so many weaknesses. But in a farming style environment where you can get fast 6, might be able to do some damage. Hecarim's gone through some nerfs, but still players that are very comfortable, and especially who know the good clears, having tons of success on this champion. Karthus is probably something we're going to be playing. Jarvan gone. We want to be able to scope into this. So let's see. We have dive, dive, dive. So you know what? They want to dive. We want to keep our distance. We want to punish dives. We'll go like this. This comp is AFK side lane game. Yes, it actually is. Which Karthus amoeba? All right, Karthus is actually potentially strong against, or Tryndamere good against Karthus. Depends like where the fights are going out, how they're breaking out. Very bad matchup for Yorick. Yorick basically has to wait for the E and then has to put the cage down and basically always run. Tryndamere gets enough attack speed, and he's got the extra attack range now where he can actually get through this a little bit easier. They're going to win these all-ins. Rel, Jarvan, Swain if we get into a dogpile, but our team's not really much about dogpiling. I like that this guy swapped over to Jax. Jax much better against Tryndamere. Could go Dark Harvest because we should have some early action from these guys. Tryndamere, Jarvan, and Rel, happy to get that, but they also have the guys that are willing to sit back in lane, Veigar and Swain. So happy to sit back. We should be just stronger as far as total damage going into these fights. Sivir and Karthus late game is a tremendous combination. And basically, all that AoE damage is something that they can't match with. Now, we want to try to avoid the iterations where we get into a fight with Swain, essentially, right? They're going to try to force fights and keep them in a pocket with Jarvan and Swain. Oop. Where'd you go? You're supposed to be closed. Hopefully we don't miss the start here. Now Jarvan's going to have much faster gank paths than me. I have a faster clear. I can fight him for jungle. If he does hit me with a knock-up, then I can be in trouble, especially if he goes with a Conqueror setup, which is what he has. I don't know if they're actually keeping these lanes. Could be, could not be. we're gonna have to take shallow positions, which means we're just propping a ward down. Probably not here. Now with double range versus Rel, it is so important to control this mid bush that I'm willing to sacrifice my ward here. Yeah, get out. We had late starters and no Twitch, right? So we have to get out. Good job by Vex holding this down. Now these guys are going to want to fight for the push, but they don't want the level 2 fight with the Rel here. Looks like it might actually be Swain in the middle. Get out of here, Twitch. Oh, is he going for a level 1 cheese mid? That'd be sick. Love it. Absolutely love it. A little bit of a lag here. That's no good. Love it. Now we fought for 2. We got the range advantage here. We're going to try to hover this and try to be in position as Rel goes for their ganks. I was watching the mid action. Didn't look to see if they leashed. That's a mistake on my part. Still getting spikes. Don't know what this is about. Okay. Again, I'm getting a spike here. This is no good. I might have to play this game really differently. See? Have to stay until you reach 0 gold. If you leave at negative, you get the tax. Looks like we have a winning position here. Swain's actually pushing out. He's actually putting himself into a checkmate spot. Might actually look to cover mid soon. So we just want to ping out here. We don't want the Jarvan to get any free ganks. This wave is pushing out as well. Hey, I'm a dummy. See, we're just gonna hold this position now. Jarvan's flash is down. So now we basically have no play. The Tryndamere has no play here. Should have walked out. Easy call for him. We found Jarvan that let Vex get the push in after getting the win. I'm not scared right here, even though Vex is back because there's no threat of the mid laner being here. Good timing on the Jarvan to know that he could go for an invade on Krugs right on that respawn too. And he picked up Raptors. He just picked it up now on the way out, so this guy's shown to be pretty aggressive. Going for full farm though. That's going to favor me. I lost a lot of time by not having the perfect mechanics. The reason I'm turning my E on and off, by the way, is because it saves mana. You still get the tick after a cast. Let's see, Sivir's got the push. Jarvan's likely to be already here in his good position. I'm gonna bait like I'm running away. Sivir's holding a freeze right now, and we're missing Rel and Vhagar, so we have to just be careful about where they may end up. Very worth to get this. Alright, we're just going to power farm on this side of the map. Sivir should play back. Gonna let them know that Jarvan's on that side of the map. Actually, really awkward time for Jax to take his recall, but Tryndamere looks like he's trapped here, and I bet Jarvan's just on the side, like, naturally vibing, so I may just throw out my ultimate for chunk damage. I'm gonna do it. Wasn't even looking at the Swain. See you, but I can't really help. You know, I'm gonna save this eye for a popping right about now. All right, we got our shop off. Gonna clear camps, hopefully get blue last. Good little roam here by Twitch, but it's a very dangerous one against Tryndamere that can have an ultimate there. That'll be a flash. Don't miss. Did Rel just clear that? Oh my gosh, I left Rel clearing that thing. I don't just want this gold right now. Yeah, I'm gonna take the gold right now. We got 2 plates for ourselves. Timing is going to be good. We're going to be able to get the next Fiendish Codex or boots up. Actually, boots upgrade for sure. In time for this ultimate. Just gonna press this right now. We've got pressure on the map. This will also get me gold for Dark Seal. Gold ticks up, and beautiful. Tons of extra gold. Good timing too, right? You see like this extra damage, it comes out. I get the assist. Dark Seal's already stacking. Oh, there's the Jarvan. Missed it. Cleanse doesn't work there. The Jarvan's still on the side of the map. What is he trying to do? Is he trying to push out and make room for a dragon? That'd be swell. Follow for the kill. Keeping the dragon aggro here away from the Vex. Easy clap. You know what? We're gonna turn around and kill this thing right away. Yeah, we're doing all right. What's up, dude? This champion's so fun. Oh, I died like a numbnut. It turns into a kill, but it's still no good. We're gonna have ult on respawn. Keep on going for cooldowns. Cosmic Drive. Now with some low HP bars, I can't actually kill Rel because Rel's respawning. Sorry, Rel's already in base. We have the respawn from Veigar. I can get full value from this ultimate. There's a world where I actually cast it and just pick up... You know what? I think I just cast it here, and I'm going to pick up the wand. I can pick it up to deal that damage. Now I'm going to get that gold back. Only 58. Shoot. Now I might not be able to undo it. Oh, no. How did I not get it? You know what? It's the shields. They both shielded it. Didn't calculate it. It's alright, though. Turret gets destroyed. We're still good. This should be a free kill onto Swain. Looking pretty good, guys. Looking pretty good. Now our team is really heavily indexed on AP, so it might be wrong to go for Shadow Flame. Vex is roaming, perfect time for me to use this. Jarvan also showing on the map. This guy actually can't stop a push of a Herald, so we're just going to do that. Now we're hovering here for the dive. I don't even care if they see me here. That guy's dead. Not quite. That guy's dead? No one's dead? Oh no. Alright, we should get multiple. Do not die here, Vex. Okay, thank you. We got plenty of action though, we're okay. Maybe I should go Rabadons. Then skip the Shadow Flame. Not much MR coming out yet. Everyone's gonna still like take their build. Maybe it's just Shadow Flame first anyways. So Shadow Flame into Pen would make a lot of sense. We can actually afford this right now, but I don't have my ultimate available, so I don't need to rush. This is one of the things you can do is gate yourself around this. So like, yeah, in a minute 40 seconds, I'll have more than enough gear to come. Jax needs to shop. I want my blue buff, but not yet. Got the ward, so we're okay. I need to wait for my team to get into position. Alright, they're doing it. Renting for this. That guy might die. We're gonna get multiple kills off of this. Especially if I can get an assist here, which I may not. We did. Perfect. Now we have the item and we have level 2 ultimate, so we're just going to be able to get our kills whenever we want. Good late flash here. Oh, nice. Oh, nice try. I'm just going to sit on this. I feel like I can snowball myself with the Void Staff, so I'm going to save my extra spike. I'm not going to spend my extra like 75 gold here. 24 seconds, this is up. I'd like to get blue buff before I did it. But this combination is such high damage, right? Natural pen, and then burn, and based on extra AP ratios, should be pretty good. Oh, this is a free time to ult. Double kill? Nope. Kind of sad that I don't have a double kill off of that. They could have like laid off, gone for the other target. I don't know, maybe not. Blue buff will be mine though. You don't win that, Sivir. You gotta get out of range. Straight lines, my friend. Straight lines. No. I hope, I don't know if it happened. Oh no. With the Swain right there. Don't ping those, Sivir, that's so obnoxious. You got the reset. Not quite enough. Get some chunk out for them. We're moving quick. That's probably our last visit to this side of the map. They're gonna go to Dragon, we're gonna go to Baron. Fuckers. Baron is legit free. Okay. They're gonna be numbnuts. We have to go where they're going. Done. Beautiful. Just gonna cast this for the Vex. Maybe she gets something. Should have been much easier than that. Those words are inconsequential. Just siege. That's an easy kill. That's right. Easy. Swain's coming up. I would just want to give a little bit of cover fire to my guys as they're taking this thing.
Your team has destroyed an inhibitor.
134 extra gold on the way out. Beautiful. All right, so now we just do this. Keep it nice and easy. Now we actually don't want to kill the wave that fast. Slow it down. But it's actually a pretty big blunder because, like, look at our waves and where the supers are. We don't have time for anything to actually materialize yet. I might be dead already. It's a really bad death by the Vex. I shorted it, no. Finish that turret. Oh, she blocked it. We're so lost though. Wow, okay. It's gonna be tough to get away from this guy right here. Wait, don't wait! That guy could have canceled that animation. Be alright. Alright, now, since I'm diving in for my team, since we're a high range team, pretty squishy in general, we're going to go Zanyos. This is not something you always need to do. Can actually go right here, right now, but stopwatch is really solid. We still want to just create this push, nothing else. Nothing else matters. Oh, stop it. Stop it, Twitch. Your item does not matter right now. The game outscales you. No, stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Guys, no, you do not need to shop. There's nothing that you can do that is worth stopping the tempo of the game to go get an item. Especially just a fucking BF sword. Like, come on. This is ridiculous. Inconsequential. There's one thing that matters, and that's breaking the base right now. They're going after Dragon. They're actually just going to lose the game off of this. Should be late enough. It might be too early, actually. Got the Tryndamere right on time.
Your team has destroyed a turret. Shut down. Aced.
That's right. Can't send any message. I mean, we should have known. We could have stopped. We could have slowed things down. It's just completely inappropriate. Even then, if we execute a little bit better, we're fine. This is the last super spawning in both lanes. So we do have one super left, which gives us time to go here, but they are going to be able to contest. Luckily, we have lanes pushing. Yep, makes sense. That's why.
The enemy's inhibitor is respawning soon. The enemy's inhibitor is respawning soon.
Jax cannot push this hard enough, fast enough. They can try. They should keep on pushing. Never shouldn't even try for this. Especially not like that. It's good. Int. It's worth inting here to make sure we kill 2 turrets.
Your team has destroyed an inhibitor.
That's fine.
Your team has destroyed an inhibitor.
Alright, this time. It's a little bit of a grinding sound, huh? You can see why people hate it. We are so close to 16, by the way. Not good. Slow down, slow down. Go. Slow down, slow down. This happens, right? With an overly fast push, you just want to be patient. You don't want to get here to the bend before the supers are in position. Once the supers are in position, then you can come here, where if they come out to us, we can just stall, kite away, and the supers will come in and crack the base. That'll be the topic of our Fast 5 after. If I'd gotten one of those kills, by the way, it would have hit level 16. That ult would have killed. But we're going to be alright.
Enemy killing spree.
Didn't get my ulti off. That's a big problem. Might actually just lose here, though. 30 seconds. Luckily, Jarvan's here, not pushing it. If their E were available, they would definitely get this. They probably still do, but Sivir has a chance of inting for the wave. This is what you have to target. It's gonna be really tough. I have to ult on spawn. I can't even try to walk in. There we go. Yo, kill. Oh boy. No, it's not all on Twitch. I mean, part of it. You just have to walk it in, right? I'll give Jax a good shot calling, because he's right. It's like not worth like spamming over the guy, but... $50k damage, not even close to enough, unfortunately. I mean, it was. We had the game checkmated, but we'll go check it out. Where's the BF sword? Looking at right here. No, this is after we got it, so we're in really good shape. I think it's here. Okay, yes, this is it. Okay. So we're going to pause for a moment. Everybody's up. Things are up. We were missing a couple flashes, sums. Not everyone's keeping track of these things, but we have all ults down over here as well. What is the objective? Where should we be? Take a look at the map state, and let's just talk about like what our assignments are, where people should be on the map, and what we should be doing. So I'll give you guys a second to type it out before we go into it. You guys can see everything all right? Hop into the post game for a second, see if anyone wants to pop along. All right, so a couple missed assignments, right? Top lane, definitely where we want to be pushing. You want to have your fighter in mid escorting supers along, okay? The idea is that since this is broken in, you want to have your fighter able to flank. This is because they're the sturdiest person on the team. In this team, it's only Jax, right? We only have Jax that can take that role. Karth is not very good at it, too squishy. Vex could in some matchups, but because of the amount of hard engage that they have between Jarvan, Tryndamere, Rel, even Vhagar at some amount of range, pretty easy for them to collapse on the one. You need it to be someone that's more mobile, that can survive that initial burst and then give time for the team. Basically play a little bit safer and then walk in with escorting the supers. Secondly, when we're going, we want to make a consolidated push. We want to be moving this up together. Actually, it's worth going to this spot right here. So we just cleared out top. This is important, okay? Right here, right now, pause. Look at where the supers are. Look at where our team is. First off, we're in a bad position. Secondly, nothing is pushing up yet. You do not want to over push this wave. All right, this is pivotal. No one thinks about it because it happens 30 minutes into the game and it's not as recitable as lane phase, but this is pivotal. This is a basic fundamental thing for ending the game. You do not push. You just get your last hits, all right? And even last hits, secondary to just watching the map and making sure you're hitting, because at this point gold doesn't mean anything. So it's worth giving up gold to slow this wave down as much as possible. It's already pushing a little bit. The one thing you can do is clear out these guys. The reason you want to do that is to make sure they deal the most damage. You want them to be gone. You want the cannon to stay, because then the frontliners are there, the beef minions are there. It soaks up the minion pressure for the longest amount of time. Okay, cool. Watch what happens when you don't do that. Coming in here and actually pushing everything. I realized too late that this guy put his counter strike on. I shouldn't have cast the Q here because it helped him to do something bad. The idea is I'm supposed to push this. That's it. We just clear the casters so that they lose some of their damage. We let the wave stack up. Now watch what happens. Instead, we've got this wave coming up. Now we have no real great position to be in. We talked about this in game. If you're Twitch, there is no world where you back for an item here. Okay, like it feels fine to go get your item. It feels like you even need it, but the loss in tempo of the team is tremendous. Now this happening means that we just have to back off, and it would be okay. Let me pop up the objective timers. All right. The problem is, this would be okay if it were at the beginning of a Baron push and we're just like, okay, reset, get your maximum amount of items, get your elixirs and whatnot so we can push and end the game. The problem is this jump in damage is so minuscule compared to what the team's going to be doing. On top of that, I don't even think this is a very good second item. Ginsu's Rage Blade does a lot more with the penetration that you get, plus the on hits with the Blade of the Rune King. I think it's just better. Kraken Slayer is kind of first or bust. This being said, we should be backing off, all right? Now, another thing to discuss, Vex does not have teleport, all right? This is a solo queue bias thing because no one wants to talk about or prioritize or think about what pushing is like in the end game, but this is a pivotal part of how to win. If you don't have teleport, you have to be with the team. 100%. So everything about our setup here is now wrong. Jax over pushing, Twitch taking it back as Baron is expiring, Vex away from the entire team with no teleport. Everyone's doing something wrong. Only person doing something modestly right was Sivir cracking one wave in and then moving over to the left. Like, she's in a good spot. This is fine. But now the three of us, if we just turn vision off, we can't go any further than this, right? We haven't left behind any wards. If you're Twitch, you really want to have lane wards as you break these inhibitors because it allows your team to get knowledge about where they're going to be rotating, and we don't have that. So we have no idea really about what's going on here besides what happens with the Scryer Blooms. But we know that Vex with no TP is bot. We know that Twitch is back. Therefore, we have to look to back off. If we see these two people which in this case they showed to come out. Rel, I have no idea what Rel's doing here. But if Rel does show, then we're okay. We're 3-on-3. And with a pretty decent composition. We don't have a support, but we don't really have a support anyways. Problem is that hard engaged champions are going to have a field day against people like us, especially someone like Jarvan versus Sivir. Now, in this case, Sivir has the flash, so she'll be fine, but it's still not great. All right, we'd much rather just be walking it in with minions. This wave would still be back here stacking, and then only now be pushing forward, and we'd already have a reinforcing wave coming behind us. Vex would be with us. Jax could be middle, bringing this wave in, and then together we come, so we end up with this wave timed up with this one. If you look right now, this top wave is going to crash about 8 seconds earlier than this middle one, and that becomes a problem, right? We need this to happen at the same time. Otherwise, they can just go clear top, then go clear mid, and they don't lose anything, right? We want to make it so that if they choose to get top, then they are going to give in tons of pressure in mid. Super is going to make it into the turrets, and Jax will have a flanking position, right? Then they have to choose, are we all-inning a fight while the super is definitely taking at least 2/3 of one of these turrets, or what's going to happen next, right? So this pretty simple logic puzzle on what to do in this situation. Everything about our setup is wrong, and these are things that people can improve on. It's just a choice. Visualize it. Since you can't really practice it, it's the sort of thing where you just have to go into end games, press pause after a Baron, and say, how should I approach this, right? Where can we appreciate pressure? Where is there momentum that they have to answer, and therefore we can peel them apart and go for wins? So it's not, at this level, even at the highest level, people still don't understand this. They still just get kills to win. Even sometimes at pro, there's teams that don't do this well. So you're not alone. There's a lot of people that don't know these things. They don't spend any time thinking about them, but these are consequential ways how you can control the end of your game. And yeah, it does involve 5 people doing things, but like in this case, with Twitch recalling and Vex down bottom, we have the option to back off. It's not the right option in like the idea of what the best play looks like, but in the case of what we see on the map, this is what we have to do. So hopefully that makes sense. Basically, the next 15 minutes played out the same, right? It was just over and over the same sort of thing, just people ebb and flow of pressure going into different spots at different times, and it ended in a similar way with Twitch leaving the fight. I'm not there. They get engaged on, yeah, Twitch is going to go get the inhibitor, but we're going to lose the game, right? It needs to be pressure at the same time, and it needs to be forcible pressure, and, hopefully everyone will see that game and see like, I don't want to lose a game where we killed 2 inhibitors twice, where we got two Barons, where our enemy team doesn't have soul. They spent useless amount of times on Dragon. I could have gone back to that moment where Dragon's up and Baron's up, and inexplicably we just int into the foggy bot side river. Just an awful play. There's no other way to say it. It's just a blunder. We fed them 2 kills for free, and they got a chunk on Sivir. We were late to kill Baron. We still ended up getting Baron because they're gravitating to the wrong objective. But normally what tends to happen in these games is the less people know about how to use Baron, the less likely they, or I should say, the less willing they are to go to Baron means the less idea they have about how to use Baron. So something I can do better is communicate with my team where I want people as we get Baron and how we're going to put in this this push. So that's something that I can do better. Playing better always starts with me. And then in that situation, I can just back off to ping, use my pings a little bit more. I tried to use them on, hey, this is the lane we're going to go push, but that's a pretty jarring sound to get 5 pings like that. Maybe I could have done less. Anyways, here we go. We'll go next. What's up, guys? Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate the likes and the follows. What's up, guys? And a little sound check. 6K gold lead at 15 minutes. Still hot, still summer. 4 days in the 90s. Yesterday was 95 degrees and humid. Been gross. Try to get this guy some good situations. Normally cast it inside. It's good to hover to show like, hey, I'm last pick. I'm willing to counterpick this. But you basically only want to play cast it into mages. All right, who else do we want to go with? We could go Karthus again. Hecarim, Rel. Rel just gets all the action in. Nocturne's totally fine as well now as well. Something that we'll expect to see a lot more of at Worlds will go like this. There's two different options, right? If there's going to be way more poking, we go like this, but this tends to be to a passive playstyle that's not very good for playing with teams, especially at middle ELO. They're tending not to be as patient, so it's much better to go here, so we're fine with this. Still going to go like that. All of these are fine. Font of Life is good for the healing. Overgrowth is okay as well. Revitalize to synergizes with Font of Life, so we can get that. It's also really good in the jungle in general. Could go Bone Plating, but Conditioning's totally fine. We're going to transition into tank, going Demonic Embrace and Even Shroud. Even Shroud just got nerfed, but it's still the best item. Can go Radiant Virtue. It's totally fine. The extra, we're not getting any kind of item cooldown off of this, which is kind of a pain in the butt, but it would give us the extra smites and the extra flashes for the flash engages. And basically you need a reason to not go Cosmic Insight. Sometimes it's there, right? We can go for better combating in the jungle. We can go for the faster spike here. And since Maokai is basically 2 items and done, Futures Market is actually really solid for him. We could even go like this. All right, let's see. We've got Dive. Yone Nautilus with Kha'Zix to kind of pound in. They're probably going to leave behind a Zig, so we should be able to find some avenues here. Zaya's got the self-peel, but we have a Draven in bot lane. Draven Lux is meant to just win lane. And Snowball, so I'm going to be focusing on that lane more than anything. Getting Kale out of laning phase is also important. Vladimir's going to have to stick to themselves. Unfortunately, Yone can just run over Vladimir. So we do have some troublesome lanes. Kind of might have to leave Draven and Lux to just win on their own, which is potentially a little bit scary. So we would have to shadow Kha'Zix in that situation. Best case scenario for us is that it's Yone, that we keep Yone away from Vladimir. Kale's going to be fine, especially like level 1 is okay. You can actually take fights. It is lethal tempo versus lethal tempo. I actually haven't tested this level 1. I don't know who actually smashes it. Ziggs is going to try to shove Vlad in all day long. We're missing Lux, so this means we can't really take any level 1s. Kale's going to turret and not to river, so we're going to have to be especially careful. Looks like they're AFK.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
Alright, so to track Kha'Zix, we basically just need to make sure that we don't have gank set up in top. Yone into Kale is not really going to be able to set up for Kha'Zix, so we should be okay in a lot of different situations here. Going to go for a ward on Raptors to get an idea when Kha'Zix is pathing this way, whether or not they're starting red. Might even get lucky with a ward catch right here.
Minions have spawned.
No one's coming for the ward. That's too bad. Now it is Draven. Normally I would not start with red, but something that we can do is take this camp and kite it to the right so that Draven can catch axes. We'll see if he turns on his Q right now, if he's a good Draven. Nope, he's not a good Draven. So basically what I'm doing is allowing the Draven to catch more. He should be throwing that one more time. Right here, see how he dropped his axe? This guy's not an experienced Draven player. Missing somebody, or they're in a bush? Just gonna mark the Kha'Zix. Bad start. Even with Draven getting the kill. Oh, never mind. Getting both of them, we're good. Good job. Oh, did Kha'Zix steal? Okay. Alright, look at this guy being clever. Let's see. So that explains the Ziggs coming over to this side of the map. And it does mean that I don't have level 4 to be able to gank the Ziggs and hold him down. So I get penalized for the Q. Does mean that since he went blue Gromp red, that we might be able to fight him on this side of the map. There's a world to go amplifying tome here to just get better clears. Nautilus is roaming up top. This isn't all in. She's stuck. We freeze this and then this guy can't play the game. Maybe they're raging at each other. That'd be sick. So Lux, stand right here. Zone them. Don't need to all in. I'll literally just need to zone and this guy's out of the game. Draven knows. It's actually worth dropping axes. That's how important it is. Yo, Vlad. That's not Vlad's fault. That's, why did the minions go to Vlad? Alright, if they're gonna leave Zai alone this long, then I'm just gonna go dive. Got the push. Now we still got a freeze. We're still good. Gonna drop this here. Now another thing we can do, since this is frozen, no, they're not freezing. They're going right here. So they can push and then create this. Good job staying alive, but kind of unacceptable to like even take that much damage to begin with. We'll take it. We'll take what they give us. Wolves just came back up. Level 4 is so slow. Looks like Zaya's raging now. It's like I can't lane down here by myself. I'm not afraid of this guy because I still have the potion and I still have my sap, right? So if I can delay that fight, and even if I traded with the support, it would be okay because we have Draven cleaning up to get the kill. But it looks like they're just pissed off at each other. Oh, they don't know. This guy should freeze. Very hard, kind of hard to do with Draven if once you're big, right? Especially if you have BF like this. Would be totally fine to push as well. This guy's doing a fantastic job of surviving up here.
An enemy has been slain.
I hold this. Got him. Nice. Guy's definitely getting frustrated. Beautifully done. I could have Kha'Zix nearby. Probably not worth me checking anything near here. Looks like he went for my blue respawn. Yeah, blue respawn and there's a ward here. Unfortunately, Kale didn't get the memo. Okay, though. Tough job. We're getting some trade back. Nautilus trying to push. Let's see. Gotta be careful. Gonna go clear out this control ward. Good job by Draven. We want to rotate Draven to middle now. Oh, they moved it. Can get this guy a plate. I'm gonna actually let him get the plate solo. Tag this thing way down here.
Shut down. Rampage.
Hey. Misplayed that. It's okay though. I'll be alright. We're gonna pick up this blue and grab our demonic, then we'll be good for tempo on everything. We got good rotations here, we're in a good spot. Now let's rotate him. No. We are weak here. And I do believe that they have the teleport advantage here as well. This is risky AO. Vlad needs to come over right away. Kale needs to start rotating to mid. But enemy team is disjointed, right? So there's a lot of things you can get away with when enemy team is busted. 1239. We'd like to get Draven to this.
An ally has been slain. Your turret has been destroyed.
It's actually putting the wave in the lap of the Xayah, which is not something we want, but it gets me over here faster. Anyone trying? Yeah, they're trying for it. Got you. I don't got you. Move speed.
Plating will soon fall.
Beautiful. Demonic might take him. He doesn't have jump, right? Oh, he dodged me. Neat little moves there. Vlad, meanwhile, is getting a big push off. We still want to get this outer turret to Draven. There's no more plates here, but at least, like, still a lot of action. Now we're just going to start going into cooldown mode. That's really good for us. He does not realize how big that guy is.
Your team has destroyed a turret.
Have to cover. Keeping Draven alive is paramount. That's 1,000 gold. We do not want in the pockets of the Kazakhs. Just want to turn around and kill this guy.
Shut down.
I want Draven to come here on respawn. No, there, I quit. Good. Alright, what did I say I was going to go over in that game? That was kind of nothing happening. Didn't even play particularly well. Not Zaya has thing for. Just put it out there if they want. Actually, they'll get it just by clicking that link. Right, because we just put it to the channel. Alright, so what should we take a peek at? I'll find that early 2v2. Alright, so what do we have here? Let's swap it to red side vision. A couple different elements. This can't be right. Is this right? Okay, no. 150. Okay, so we have a late here. All right, so we have Nautilus griefing. So Nautilus is just griefing this game. Okay. Great job by Kha'Zix. Even if you were fake leashing here, like you'd hit and cast a spell maybe, come out with some mana and like one hit, half a hit worth of HP missing, not worth it. Obfuscating the start of the jungler, and that's why it's so important to do this, right? We come over, watch what it's going to cost Nautilus just by looking at the experience bar here, right? The fact that you're not here hitting level 2 means that you're going to have syncopated 2s, whereas our team's going to have it on the 9th minion. Nautilus is not going to have it all the way until the 3rd wave. So what ensues here is just a miscalculation. Now, if you're Nautilus, throw it on top of the axe. Like, make him either drop it or go, oh, I want to show Draven a little trick. Okay. Draven, blue vision. Okay. Draven readies a spinning axe, causing his next attack to deal 50 damage. If Draven catches it, he readies it, right? So you can have, what is it, 4 seconds, I think, on this, where you cast. So basically right here, you can already have it charged up. All right, you can cast the first one. That'll get you the cooldown start moving. This is an integral part, all right? Have the Q already going here. And as a jungler, a little trick that you can do with Draven is give him 3 axe catches moving towards his lane. You can do it with 2, but might as well do it with 3. That's like pro synergy, where you like take everything. Draven takes the first hit. It pulls the red buff over. So we come over here. Now right here, you should have taken one more hit so you could catch one more axe, all right? Because we've got a 5-second cast on this Q, and then you'll see the duration. Yeah, it's actually significantly longer than that. 140, is that 138, right? This is from my knowledge right here. I want to get this timing down exactly. All right, so right now it's 138. Okay, 138. You see how it goes? Boom, you're at 143, so there we go. Yeah, you do get 6 seconds on this. 6 seconds, really it's a full 5. At this point, you can recast your Q and then get in. Now in this position, you can't, because 144, if he's here by 150 making another auto attack, he's good, and you can see that edge just misses, okay? So if you're in this position, what you do is you catch one more axe as the Draven, you move over, that'll let you get 3 more steps, then you recast Q as you're getting to lane, and that gives you double axes to start your laning phase. All right, so that's all you need to do. 3 autos as you move over, have each one come over and just walk your way over to the lane. And that combination will give you the maximum amount that you need to have double axes spinning in lane. So we have that. Now, as far as how the lane should be fought out, this is where we have a big blunder by the Nautilus, right? And this is a tremendous misplay. When we're fighting, we're taking any amount of trades or taking any amount of fights here. We have 2. Now Lux a little bit late to the lane as well, so she just missed out as well, pushing back out. So we don't have quite the full advantage, but this 2 versus 1, level 2, versus 1-1 is always going to favor the Draven because they're going to get that first kill. Not only this, but if this minion dies, I believe Lux will hit too. So this may not happen, but it may happen during the course of the fight. And it looks like she doesn't even get it in time. This is why you have to be auto-attacking minions, but make sure that you're in range. Look at this difference, right? Now we're coming up, gets out of range again. So by literally taking 1 hit off to kill one of these minions would have been worth it. Now that's something that you're not gonna like know playing with a pub, but if you're playing and with a teammate, you should be looking at this and be like, I need 1 more, I need 1 more. First off, don't even be in this position, but if you're in the position of I need 1 more minion, you should always take it because getting a level up is like putting an extra Doran's Blade in your inventory. All right. This whole time, Nautilus is still working off his first cooldowns, and you can see he doesn't have Q. So now we're fighting this Draven who's level 2. You're level 1, you don't have access, and this is how you lose the game. Alright, it's 2 minutes and 40 seconds in. You lost it a minute ago by just not being here in time. So late coming over. Might have had something to do with them spotting me. They must have seen me come over and thinking that they had a play, but this is far too late, and it causes you way too much grief. Now, something you can do to combat this, if you're the carry and your support is doing this, you can actually go pick up the wave as it's coming up, all right? And what ends up happening like this, if I go grab the aggro right here, all right, the minions are coming by. I'm in this bush. I let the minion get to my belt, and then I step out. It turns around. All 6 minions aggro on you. Then you go back in the grass. You end up losing 18 HP. No big deal. The big deal is that those minions are now delayed and they're on their side of the map. Not only that, but their AI that normally splits up and fights 3 versus 3 completely evenly every single game where all 6 of those minions die within a second of each other, that will break. Your AI, once you have a target, it stops doing its minion default AI, right? So this is the example of what minion AI looks like. This is normal. Boom, they spread. This one comes over here. They spread, and you're just going to see that these things just kill each other at the same moment. If Xayah had not contributed anything or Draven doesn't do anything, these minions all die at the same time. You can see that all of these guys spread out, and they each hit 1 target each, okay? If you drop that AI, instead, they'll swap to focus fire, which is first target I see, everything attacks it. So now this minion wave would come up. Minion number 1 would come up over here, collide with 3 melees and 3 ranged. What does that mean? It means that your wave... Sorry, in this example, how do I approach it? If Xayah is waiting for Nautilus, Xayah can pull these minions over. Then they have over here, their 6 burst your lead minion down. And then suddenly your minions don't have enough firepower to kill any of theirs. And not only that, but one of your minions tends to die against everyone who's doing the noob low yellow leashes, right? It's one of the things that you can do to exploit anyone who's leashing. You just come down here and you literally can win the game by having a faster level 2 and just winning the lane like that. So a couple different tricks, tips you can use to just win this game on your own. In this case, it's just how to not lose the game at level 1. But there's ways that you can manipulate it to do it for yourself. Hopefully that makes sense. If you guys have questions, pop them in the comments. Look at this. Zyra jungle win rate. People who one-trick it have a high win rate. People who don't have a tough time. This is a difficult balance measure. This probably means that it might even get a little bit of love. But they have to be very careful because if they do, people who are good at Zyra can have way too good of a time here. Udyr is a strong champion right now. The Demonic Embrace build should be strong. These champions, you do not ever want to play them if you're not a one trick. Let's just go straight up to win rate. Taric jungle is something that we talked about ever since the beginning. Now check this out. People who randomly play Taric in the jungle have a higher win rate than Taric one tricks. What does that mean? Let's see if you can figure it out. It's a small sample size. relatively, right? We only have 1,000 games. Some people do Master Yi Taric together and they just go into the jungle. Now, they can't both position jungle, so it's not that. But there could be some influence from some amount of like I queued, we swapped, we make sure that we get jungle, we make sure that we get Yi, and then we put Taric wherever we need to. It can be support, carry, or top. So I think it might be a little bit inflated by that, but this is a champion that we've spoken about ever since the preseason changes. All the champions that had single target clearing issues like Trundle, Shen, Taric, this season solved their jungle woes. Now Taric still has some problems where he can't get over walls, right? So he's never going to be great. But the sheer amount of power that you can get from this champion is tremendous. So if you play Taric, highly recommend checking it out. Start with blue buff, so you make sure you get that mana topped off, because you do charge through your Qs. But you basically go auto, Q, auto, 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 Q, auto, auto, and you tempo it so it's every third auto attack. You can do it auto, auto, Q, auto, auto, Q, auto, auto, Q, but you tend to burn through, and you don't actually get that extra buoy on the attack speed as sharply as you can by just waiting for one extra timer, hit boom, and Q off of that. We'll try for Jarvan since we don't have a Jarvan game yet. All right, Heimerdinger's worst matchup by a mile is Tryndamere. Tryndamere just walks through all the turrets. You do push him in, and then level 6 happens, and you just die. Also, in the early game, if you cast your E, you immediately lose, and that means that Tryndamere can just walk up and start auto-attacking you, save his E for your E. And if you never hit your E, your turrets don't fire enough, and you just have to have like the testicular fortitude to stand in the middle of the wave while an AD is thwapping into you with a Dorn's Blade. So it's not a comfortable place to be. All right, we have Jarvan down, so we want to take advantage of someone that's good in space. We could also take someone like Trundle and just win some 1v1s, or we can go something like Shen, as we talked about, Shen and Taric, that can just go and kind of play shadow games. You just shadow where the enemy jungler is going to be, and you try to win 2v2s. Numbers, even fights. We have a heavy AP bias right now, so I'll go Abyssal Mask. It's fantastic for Shen's damage. It's also going to be really good for our profile. So the question is whether or not how much of their damage profile is going to be that. They're going to be heavily indexed to early game here. So we're not going to be able to start with it, but we should be able to get it somewhere in the build. And just have to get the extra points from the shield to block something like Draven auto attacks. We could also just swap into something else. Amumu just very classically good against this. Ashe is a tough time. You get ripped apart by Draven. You can't get away from Jarvan or from Vex or from Kled. So we're gonna have some tough times up here. We might go for someone that likes a brawl. We also need a body, so I may go with Darius jungle here. Ooh, all right. This is like the worst case scenario Xerath was. But Darius is going to be so good against all these divers that I'm just going to be fine with it. Abyssal Mask not needed as much anymore since we have a more split profile. We'll be okay. Problem is that we're going to lack a little bit of frontline. We need Heimerdinger and Vlad to kind of just be in there to start the fights. There's definitely a reason where I could have just taken a tank and just lived with it. Someone like Sejuani. Although Sejuani with four ranged champions is never great. Rel would have been fine as well. Rel might have actually been the pick here. Rel's fantastic against Jarvan. The Abyssal Mask is a natural second item for her. So probably should have gone there. When was Victorious Jarvan? This year? No, 2011. Okay. Jeez, OG. Okay, that's good for us.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift. Seconds until
I can confirm. Now we have Lux and Ashe, so I want them to get this rebound as quickly as possible. They can pull the wave away from Draven and kind of screw him. If they can get a freeze going, that'd be optimal, and then I'll be down bottom shortly. But the best way to do that is just create a minion advantage, get level 2 advantage. Vex is fairly useless at that first spot. No. That is such a bad play. That is something that people are tempted by all the way up to diamond. It is never good. You're not setting a trap. This is not about setting a trap. It's about pushing. Why am I hitting this? I got distracted by bot. Guys, you're not setting a trap. This is scrub-a-dub bot lane. Your one advantage right here is that Draven leashed, and you have an opportunity to go. Tried to go red to red against Darius. Edzo. GG. Now we get his camps. I'm actually going to take away Gromp. Second. We're going to throw off the respawn. We might actually go for it first. That might be better. Okay, good stuff, guys. Probably Stridebreaker. We could make a case for Trinity Force, but I want to be a little bit tankier this game. Staying for this plate is a little bit of a grief, because now they get really good rebound timers. Can go straight here and challenge Jarvan in case he went straight for this thing, thinking that he couldn't have a topside action. I also take it right now because it's my last chance to get into this lane. The knower. This guy knows. Jarvan's on 3 camps. Kled loses to Heimer. Beautiful. We're doing great, guys. Hey, that's a mistake. I'll shadow it. No good, though. stuff. All right, we'll finally come over. Jarvan's taking his second red. Sorry, not even second red. Second pass at bot side camps. Maybe. No, not even, because he went 4. He went red to red. So, best case scenario for him is he got an invade off on me right here. It's all them. Shove this. Give him the CS best we can. She leaves. She's huge. And yep, Vex can't lane. Who knew? Could go over and reach up for this, but I have no priority, right? Nothing left over. No extra momentum. My team's taking backs. So there's nothing really to gain for it. So in other situations, if they were going to continue and they were going to push up, for example, to get that that plate, then I'd be able to take that. But as played, we can't. $650, level 6, folks. Yeah, you know what? I just want to keep on shadowing this Jarvan. You. You know what, I don't think we even need to bait anything. I'm just gonna go fight this guy for his camps. They should be up. You guys like this pace? I'm level 7 at 8 minutes into the game. Watch this too. Actually don't even need to hit this again. As we get later into the game, I just don't even need that extra hit at all. Jarvan gets the bad news that he's got nothing left here. I'll help this guy push, and then we'll go get Dragon. Give it to other people. We don't need gold, guys. I actually can't take this just so I can afford my boots. Ready? Watch this thing bleed to death. Alright, they're taking a recall. If they weren't on recall, I would actually push out mid first there. We don't need to do that. Let's see, what do we have? A couple C forms of CC. Let's definitely go like this. Make sure that we're strong against these ADs. Easy clap, guys. The reason I'm not going sweeper, by the way, is because I'm not the one making proactive ganks. I'm basically just trying to show up where the Jarvan is and just winning these fights. I'm looking. On top. Oh shit, he got the plate. I didn't see that. Oh, there I was trying to be fancy. That's a punt. Little blunder. Looks like we're gonna get some kills though. Gonna help this guy get this shove on. Playing those. Bot is already won. Got you. Not got you? Jungle healing's OP. Look at that thing. Just melts. Could have cleared much faster if we had stayed on our... See an engage. Good. Beautiful. Give it to this guy. Always give it to the carries. You are a Darius jungle. You have 0 impact on the end of this game. Is he worth anything? I guess so.
Your turret has been destroyed.
Hey. Oh, I tried to smite and I didn't have smite. I'm such a goober. Just showing him a fast little push so we can come over here. Someone on their team's trying to be clever about it. Hey, come back to me. I never got my smite off. I cast it 3 times. I'm still getting lag spikes. Shit. shit. We'll be alright. Alright, this is gone. She won't be affording the rest of that for a long time. Now, do I want something like Chempunk Chainsword? The stats on it are pretty spicy. Draven's gonna have some healing, but no one else really, so I don't think so. Part of me just wants to have it anyways. I think we just go Dead Man's Plate, so we move around, get all the ganks, and then we can get into like Black Cleaver after that. We'll swap over this. Now that we have more responsibilities towards going into pits. More team fight situations. That's a pretty fat shutdown though. It would have been much better obviously if I didn't give it up. Good. Just hold your ground. Just tank it. Literally tank it.
You have slain an enemy.
Alright, no more auto attacking. Too important to get my charges up. Actually can't really siege into Xerath. I have this.
Your team has destroyed a turret. Your team has destroyed.
Eee. All the turrets are done. Let's see, what do we want to get? We just want to control this area of the map. Cloud map is such a good friend of Darius. Dunked. Get vision on this guy. Can't really push into Xerath. Actually, he can. This actually neat. Heimerdinger is capable of pushing into Xerath, huh? It's fine. I want this. I would like to have enough money for this. I don't think we're gonna get it though. We didn't get future sight or anything, right? So GA's fine. Steric's Gauge is probably the best. I just want to spike off of one item right here. We do have, you know what? If I go Dead Man's Plate plus Maw, that's actually enough of everything. Cover it like this. No Steric's Gauge, we get Maw instead. Vlad is kind of on the wrong side of the map. Oh, let's cover here. Stay to the right, fellas. Good, good, good. Vlad is not having a good time with those. Is that too much? Ah, it's good. It's crazy how much that burns. There's the Draven showing bot. Hey, I didn't even flash out of this thing. I suck. Okay, that's the W.
An enemy has been slain. Killing spree.
G. Darius, stronger than advertised, folks. Not about me getting the CS, by the way. Entirely about clearing quickly. Vlad could get it too. Probably should just let him do it. I should probably just queue on the front line. Let him hit the rest. Hey. Don't let him see me. Don't let him see me. Alright, that means we get the split up fight here. We're good. This Ashe is a god. 3 people dead for 1. Jarvan's up in 1. I mean, we've got Baron here. Like that little ult by Lux. I did not need to tank all that, but it kind of helps with the pressure. We keep the most amount of minions alive for this play. Nice. Ayy. Can't win them all. They should be very careful about this. Jarvan is dead, but he's up before me. 20 seconds, they should be okay, but we don't have any sight, so we just have to rely on this to be peel. You absolutely do not want to risk this dying to like a Xerath ult, for example, which should be up. This guy should save his empowered Q. We're good. Small things, so, you know, small little maximizations, optimizations. Alright, this is the lane we want to push. Nothing to accomplish in bot. Got the cloud, so we can rotate all over the map. We can literally just go everywhere. Just want to push this. We want to push our way into this western quadrant, but because these guys are hovering bot, I'm not going to force it. I'm just going to kind of stick to it. Nice. Was maybe worth flashing, by the way. Plus 50 gold. Oh, easy clap. Darius jungle, folks. Anytime someone wants to come into your game with Jarvan, Trundle, these types, like pick Darius, have a field day with it. This guy played out of their mind. Passing buffs, doing everything. All right, so earlier we showed the four-man front and how you create that. Basically, you know, one of them, you can call it a linebacker, but that jack player, that bull player that comes in for the traditional 46 defense is like this, okay? So that was like double A gap. These are tight threes. Again, same goal, same objective, to occupy these interior linemen to keep them off of your Mike linebackers. And then you're always going to go here, set the edge against the tight end, gives you an extra guy on the tight end side of the ball. So if they're creating the run scheme this way, okay. So this is kind of like what it looks like when you're playing when you're playing the traditional 46, right? So you're playing over the ball. This same thing is going to happen where you're going to create pressure and try to get it into the backfield and bracket these guys. Okay, the idea is to occupy these three to exist in this line of scrimmage, 1 yard behind them, or as far behind them as you can get. But in all cases, it's getting upfield. You're pushing this brick into their face. If you can think of it just like, here's the brick of the line of scrimmage. If you can get it onto their side, it forces their runner to kind of step back and lose momentum to come around. So these three are always going to do it. You're going to have your mark up here. You're going to have the jack, then this middle guy. Now this guy right here can be like a strong safety, but this is where you get like your Nick Bolton types, your Cam Chancellor types. They're here. They want to help plug the run. They're going to be joined for this. But the idea is that once 1, 2, 3 happen, this guy can become an outside zone. You can go for live. This is our weakest part of our rush, and that's why likely we're going to create pressure on the opposite side. So when this comes in and we have the option of maybe coming in off of stunts or whatever it is, we're putting pressure in this way to create a fifth rusher. And we do this, then we can slide over immediately to this side, right? We're collapsing. We're going to play inside tight leverage to come in front of both of these defenders, force them to play over and play over into the lap of the free safety. And that's sort of where we get this extra pressure. We're always going to man up here. And this is like traditional 46. So I think the combination of these two plans, it's something that I see, like I said, with the Seahawks and the Patriots. They're going to have a ton of success with this defensive scheme. And by playing a base nickel type situation where you have these like money backers, these light linebackers that are speedy and agile, very good at covering tight ends and then covering in zones in particular, you're still okay on this side of the ball. And you can create what they do in Seattle. They actually combine zone with man. So they'll often have something like this where they have man. I'm going to put this here just to describe it, but this guy's covering his man because this tight end is so occupied getting chipped off the line. This guy's covering here. He's got a man on his side. There's so much like dust on this side of the field because of the way the defense gets lined up. You don't expect this guy to be able to fight his way open. So if you can put your number one guy, especially if it's their number two, this is something the Patriots are really good at. They put their one on your two, and then by covering the Y receiver, especially if you're tall enough to cover the contested high passes, you're like, I've got no problem covering Mike Evans all day if I'm Stephon Gilmore, for example, going back a couple years. If you can cover that one-on-one, then you can allow for these brackets where these guys create like outside and over leverage, and then the safety can come underneath, or this guy can come underneath. And basically, sorry, that one's drawn. These two guys together can cover a route that looks like this, right? So if we have like one of the more common patterns, let's go back to the one that we drew last time. So like the most common route concept that we have, outside release, boom, up the line, and then we have something like this, okay? Sometimes it's paired with that direction. This is not meant to be a double over. So if we have, let's see, let's do routes with line type. Tends to go like this, and then we tend to have like shallow, and we have like this. Very easy to cover this with this scheme, and you can create this bracket on this defender, especially if this guy's your target. And because you've got the extra help over here, you create that like 4-on-3 on this side of the map, even if the runner comes this way, because linebackers can shift over, and 3-on-2 otherwise. So you can make sure you have numbers on this side, you've got numbers in the run game, and you've got your one-on-one here. It's all deadly. This is how I would coordinate defense. Basically just stick to combinations of these two types. Holy moly, that is a biter. Maybe you guys can see it. Whoa, shit. So that thing just started dangling right in front of my monitor. I was hoping to get it a nice little close-up for you guys. Now I'm kind of afraid. That thing was like pretty sizable. It's like this big, very thin. It's not like it can penetrate skin, I don't think, but I don't know where it is. That's the scary part. Aduke. Dude, this Vlad got props for knowing when to push and create pressure. And you see this guy, like, out of a fairly neutral lane, is able to generate advantages just by getting help on the push. This is something that people in mid lane, especially in low yellow, they're like, that's my farm. You don't realize that when you get... So let's just do a simple math equation here. Notepad. This is something a lot of people don't know, but your base experience, something is worth 100, okay? If you're solo, you get 91%. If you're duo, you split 70% each, all right? So this nets 140. Now, if I could tell you that you could generate an extra 50% experience on every wave in the game, would you do it? Yeah, like easily, right? You should always do it. Sharing experience is just always better. Sharing gold, if you have two people who need gold, you don't want that ever. But sharing experience, yes, 100%. Now, it gets a little bit worse once we're talking about 3 people and you're like A-ramming, for example. You do want to make sure that you're getting access to the other lanes and pushing things. If you ever have 3 people, then you're missing out on either one lane or another lane or jungle. So that is where like the break point is. There are times where it's worth it because tempo is much more valuable than anything else, especially if you've recently spiked items. But every time that we come over it, let me see if I can just bring up one of those spots because I want to give Vlad props for this push. Promotions, I'm okay, thank you. The other thing it does, by pushing up, you generate tempo, right? Whereas you would lose that, especially someone like Vladimir who has a tough time clearing until about level 9. You have some issues. Let's see if we can find one of these moments. Just gonna hover the camera right here. See if we can't get one of these spots. All right, perfect. All right, this is a great example of what it means to leverage priority and how tempo matters. We get this wave in, they react slowly, they pick up a wave. Xerath is recalling. By combining to get this wave in, we make sure that we've got this. Now, Heimer has his wave in at the same time that mid has their wave in, means that we have unconditional priority in the top side of the river. Even if they weren't recalling, they'd be missing out on something in these situations. Not only that, but with Xerath recalling, it means that having duo pushed this, that we have denied more CS. So not only have we generated 140% of a minion wave worth of experience, but we've also denied an extra 2 from Xerath by being faster. All right. Now, on top of that, let's look what happens next. We're going here, we're fighting this, doing it together, very importantly. Now we get to talk about the next step. All right. Now Heimer needs to be a little bit careful because we just saw the Squire's Bloom come in here. Heimer needs to play kind of cautiously, but you can notice when you're a Heimerdinger, you can just kind of sit in your turrets, kind of live for the push. We do have to still be careful about all ends. But let's talk about what happens next. Xerath gets the push. If I just leave Vladimir here and Vladimir goes back ping, and don't touch my CS, then we'd end up where Vladimir is stuck here. I can't drop Herald, I can't accomplish anything, and we can't do anything despite having the push in here because their bot lane's going to be coming back. If we started Dragon, Vlad would be glued to his own turret because this wave is pushed in. Xerath would be able to come. That would give them enough leverage to defend with Xerath and Jarvan with poke against 3 and buy enough time for these guys to come. Vlad would never be able to get out from under the turret, and we might have somewhat of a coin flip in a game where we should just be utterly annihilating them. So instead, by going here and pushing, and even going for one more wave, all right, completely worth it for one more. Trying to leave as much of this for Vlad. Now, he didn't know that I was going to do the Q. Maybe he did because he called for it, but I'm trying to cast my Q first so it spins out and then Vlad can get all the last hits. By going here, now check out the gain in tempo, right? Now it's Xerath who's pinned to their turret. And even though Ashe and Lux have given up a little bit of time in bot lane, now we're so much stronger moving out into the river, and they're glued to this position where they kind of have to stop this push anyways with Rift Herald. So this becomes free. Now we have a 4v3, unless Xerath is willing to give up an extra plate to the Darius and to give up the next wave of minions, because this is going to go and push out. So we generate more tempo for ourselves by pushing out. I think Jarvan kind of ints here. This guy did not have himself a good game. He was trying to do things based on muscle memory and like instinct rather than always thinking. But that's like a little lesson on what tempo creates, right? We create these windows, we move together. Darius, Trundle, these champions are the best at doing it in the entire game. You can have a great time in your jungle by helping with this, especially Darius making pushing so easy. Trundle's a little bit harder unless you get that early Tiamat. But Darius can just clear through these waves so fast. So hopefully you guys get a little something that you can take away into your games from there. How does Vlad get a crowd control? Gray screen? Killing them? Shouldn't happen. That's why you can take these with a grain of salt. Look how much damage you deal. I dealt 3 times as much as the Jarvan. Just like the pace of the jungle is insane with Darius. And at the beginning, I was still like unsure exactly where my thresholds are. If you play 5 games in a row with Darius jungle, you'll get those thresholds of where you can just walk away from away from jungle camps and watch them die, because they get the full stacks. They're getting tremendous amount of bleeding, but every time they bleed, that's refreshing the damage for the Pokemon to deal them damage, and basically that just continues on in a cycle. You get the full 4 seconds of the extra bleed procs, giving you that extra 8 seconds. And as you saw later in the game, I think I walked away from Gromp when it had 900 health and it still died. Right, like it's that insane. It's like having Demonic and Leandries, except it's on your passive. So the sheer tempo, right? It's almost as much as let's see, they're number 1 and 2 combined, pretty close. 1, 2, and they're 3, 4, and 5 combined don't equal how much I did. 3, 4. They're 2, 3, 4, and 5. That's 200. No, okay, that's enough. Basically, it takes 4 champions before they outpace the amount of damage that I dealt. Think about how much you can do when you deal damage to things. It means that you get out on the map faster, you can do more things, but that's what you have to do, especially when you have a champion like Darius. Another thing about that game, we noticed that we gave kills every time, right? These 8 happened in those like big melee team fights where it's like, okay, you need to win the fight above everything. I'm willing to ult. But if it's early in the game, level 5, boom, we're chunking this guy down. I'll walk away, let Heimerdinger get the kill. I'll walk away, let the Ashe get the kill, right? It's something you always want to be doing. What should we do for the last few minutes? Get some chess. We could react to more Sam Howell. Actually, you know what? I wanted to watch this video. Let's react to this. So Pat McAfee, for those of you who don't know, ex-punter, hilarious dude, started a show and then got signed by ESPN because he basically became the #1 football show and one of the best like talk shows in all of television, but entirely on YouTube platform. Now he's pairing up with ESPN, a couple of fewer F-bombs, but they have a hilarious brand. I highly recommend checking it out. But let's see what we got from
that. And how many more people are we going to do that in this particular Dan Wagon season 4?
Bird on.
Yeah, did you say Birdo?
I've only said Justin for the whole off season, so I don't really think.
Well, yeah, but we're in.
Me.
Yeah, it starts
We're
now.
in the season. You know what I mean? Like
people paying attention.
Anything
Okay,
basketball
so,
happens before Christmas, they say.
What?
I would say this. One, I don't know Michael Lombardi, and I know he doesn't like me. I don't know why. I'll answer the Justin
So
Fields
you
part
know
of it.
Yeah.
We don't know either, by the way. We love it.
I don't know him. No, I just know he doesn't like me. Okay, so I'll address the Justin thing and then why I think it's realistic to say it.
All right,
Okay, so
get to the point.
last year going into the season, you guys know this. I said it was the worst situation for a quarterback to be in the NFL. Bottom
By far.
5 offensive line and bottom 5 skill group. And
They were still reeling from the Khalil Mack contract situation, right? And they finally got out from that. So now they're finally able to rebuild, and they had the most cap space in the league. That's why they're able to be the #1 signers across free agency. It's kind of what the Patriots were 2 years ago. You can get a lot of talented guys on your team, and they should be strong enough now, and they should have gotten much, much better. The question is whether or not they like unity and synergies there. But Justin Fields should have a great situation, and especially with DJ Moore, Darnell Mooney, even Chase Claypool, at least middling offensive line, and potentially better runners. Not necessarily that David Montgomery wasn't good or they're better with him gone, but I think Rashawn Johnson is great. I think they actually have some good depth in the room. Now they have 2 tight ends as well, so I think they're going to be okay in that side. And then defensively, they just got way, way better. They're still probably talent-wise not quite there, but that's what happens when you overpay for one enormous contract. And that's why John Gruden was such a fantastic coach, just in general, just a leader of men, but knowing, okay, you want to be a malcontent, not only am I going to get rid of you, but I'm also going to get out of this situation where we don't need to deal with this big contract anymore. You can get so much more from having 20 guys on good contracts compared to having 1 or 2 on mega contracts.
And it was as bleak as it could get. Then Justin goes and accounts for, in his first year with Luke Getsy's offense coordinator, he accounts for 25 touchdowns and over 3,000 yards. I think 17 throwing and 8 running. So given the situation and the support, he played good. Okay, so then we go and get DJ Moore, who up until last year had 3 1,000-yard seasons. So he's trending towards being a real number one wide receiver. They shore up the offensive line with Nate Davis, and they draft Darnell Wright. And people are saying Darnell Wright's going to be like a
Darnell Wright in our mock draft was our number one tackle off the board. I think it was number one over taken out. We definitely, let's see, it might not have been me, but Podrick definitely had him number one. He's like, this is my OL1, and this guy's crazy. Showed up, having done the wide receiver workouts, this guy is fast. So they're going to be able to run outside schemes, and that helps someone like Justin Fields. So you have the word I've already heard is that this guy might be a shoo-in for the Hall of Fame, that he's going to be like Trent Williams good, just flying around the field, best athlete on the field, even when Justin Fields is behind you. That's kind of unreal.
Tristan Wirfs type of impact at right tackle. So now we go, okay, offensive line has a chance to be top half in the NFL, and wide receiver group maybe has the chance to be, let's say, a top half, top 20 unit instead of being the worst. Okay, so is it unrealistic to sit there and say that coming off of a season where you accounted as a quarterback for like 3,200 yards and 25 touchdowns because of just the people that are better around you, a 25% increase? You know, so we're saying another 6 or 7 touchdowns that we account for, and maybe another 800 to 1,000 yards. So then that sits Justin right around like, I don't know, 32, 34 touchdowns and 4,000 yards. I would sit there and say that's MVP level football at quarterback. So that's the first part. Okay, that's the first part.
Ipso factoed.
Yeah.
With projectional.
If it woulda, coulda.
Potential upgrade numbers.
Right. And if I were 25% increase in wins be what? Go from 4 to 5 wins?
Yeah.
Well,
be 25%.
I don't think. But I'll go back to this. Like, when was the last time we saw a team?
All right, but their defense got way better. They're not going to go from 3 wins to 4 or 5. They should be like 9 and 8. Okay, 8 and 9 maybe.
With a young quarterback that was really talented, upgrade.
And this is going to be similar to like Josh Allen's ascension as far as getting that throwing, like getting the quarterbacking part down. The physicality is there, and you could see in year one, especially the first 6 weeks, it was sit on your 2 feet with them locked. This guy was not fluid. He was not moving. He's still not great about like transfer of energy, but he was much faster to be like, all right, I'm not just going to try to diagnose things because it's making me worse at everything else. That's the step he took. He said, I'm going to let myself get worse in these mobility things so that I can diagnose faster and faster and create this upward curve that is going to get me into a better learning situation. With that upward curve, then you say, okay, now I bring back my physicality and I've created a faster acceleration, because year 1, year 2 doesn't matter for the Bears of what Justin Fields can do. As long as people are willing to be patient and actually develop quarterbacks like they're not willing to do with Trey Lance, you can let these quarterbacks have this situation, this growth curve, do everything you can to give them a full year of just learning. Give them that grace of saying you're just learning. And then the next year saying, all right, we want to get some performance, but we're still learning. If he can go and create, and now with this physical threshold, just bump up, the whole learning tier goes up. Now suddenly you actually open up new doors. It's kind of like adding 10%, and then you have to account for that 10% gain and give another 1%, because it's like, what's my 10% of that 10%? Give me an extra 1.1. You actually get 11%. When you move up, when you bump up that skill, it's going to now open up a couple other windows. And especially now when you say, all right, I'm that much better. I'm 11% better, let's say, and the guys around me are 25% better. That starts adding up, and you're like, okay, now I get my 11% of that 25 plus that little bit that's extra. And suddenly this team looks like significantly better. On top of that, they went from one of the worst defenses in the league, I think maybe just the straight up worst. The Lions, it's tough to contest with how bad the Lions and the Texans were. But now they got TJ Edwards, Tremaine Edmonds, and I think they got a cornerback signing as well. So like suddenly the middle of the field is looking really solid for them. If they can just get one more core of players in, then they should be a serious contender next year. I think this is still going to be like a middle of the pack year for the Bears.
That talent around him and the kid not take a pretty decent jump. Like
Hey, we're on your
so
side.
that,
we think he's going to be better. I think what everybody's saying, though, is to say this guy's going to be MVP. He's just like...
No, I didn't say... No. He's not. I also said I don't think he wins MVP because I don't think the Bears will be good enough.
Whoa.
MVP level football. And I said this too on the phone the other day.
well.
Like if we were just, we have to stop thinking that there's only 3 or 4 quarterbacks that could win MVP. Realistically, and you guys disagree with me if you don't think Josh Allen win MVP, yes or no? Can't.
I mean, let's see. Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow. That's at least 6. And we're like just getting to like the edge. You could also make a case, although Deshaun Watson would have to like be complete Superman to do it. He could get up there. You could even have a year from like Goff or Cousins going for 5,300 yards and 40 touchdowns. They could even get up there. So like there's like 10 quarterbacks that could easily win MVP. And Mac Jones.
Realistically.
Yeah, we're called
Okay.
Sam Howell.
Yes.
Aaron Rodgers
Lamar
can do it,
Jackson,
obviously.
Yes. Joe Burrow. Yes. Trevor Lawrence. Yes.
Trevor Lawrence, forget that guy.
Trevor Lawrence, I don't
if
think.
he stays,
But
you don't think Trevor Lawrence could win MVP? Oh, I think Trevor Lawrence could win MVP.
with what Calvin Ridley looks like he's in.
Holy shit.
But I think like last year was his hello, I'm Trevor Lawrence. This is kind of like the Justin Fields thing. I feel like to win MVP, like you have to have like, I think it's like
Next level.
you know, like
Like a 12-5 team.
Okay, can he be in? Can he be in that conversation?
I think so.
Could he play? Okay, Jalen Hurts.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Okay, Geno Smith.
No.
Maybe not. Probably not.
I'm not. Hey,
I ain't gonna say
go
no,
win
'cause-
that, Gino. Go win that, Gino.
Okay.
But it's going to be tough though, just because how people view him. I think like
Dak
that's a big
Prescott?
part of it. The MVP voting is the humans are doing the voting.
Yes. Right.
You know what I mean? So like you kind of got to play that game. But you're just saying MVP caliber style football.
Right,
And
like
what-
in that conversation where you sit there and go, "This guy won it. This guy's numbers are relatively close." Like in that and that's why I sit there and go, "Well, there's more than 4 or 5 guys that are going to play to a pretty darn good level, and depending on maybe they take a bigger jump than we expect." And then my last part with the Justin thing is this: this offense that Luke Getsy's play caller runs is the Mike Shanahan, Kyle Shanahan offense. We all know that takes quarterbacks and gets them to perform maybe better than their talent should allow it. We've all seen it. We see it we've seen it with Baker Mayfield. We see it with Jimmy Garoppolo. We saw it with Ryan Tannehill. We've seen it with Kirk Cousins. We've seen it with so many different quarterbacks. I would say that Justin's as talented as most of those guys, if not more physically talented. So if you take those quarterbacks that have been in that system and you put them in that second year of that system, on average, now it's not foolproof, on average, those quarterbacks go for like 4,100 yards and 32 touchdowns.
Woo!
Again,
Go Bears!
Wow.
Bear down!
Lock it in.
I just
Lock
I
it
don't
in.
think it's that outrageous. I don't think he wins it because
No, and he can also get like 900 rush yards.
Come on. That is what Dan just said. Like, I've had much more ridiculous thoughts than this. And if we do think back, and we were actually on the team of, there was conversations because the Bears had the number 1 overall pick last year.
Right.
Worst team in football.
Yes. Very bad.
So bad at football.
Yeah. Terrible.
Actually deemed the worst team. Like, hey, you know what? You guys actually need the first. You know what I mean?
But we
You guys
beat
need,
Belichick, though.
you guys need that.
We did.
You did great win.
Yeah. Good one.
Great. So-
Monday night crushed
But
the
then there was
Patriots.
a thought, like,
That's when I
oh,
gave up
trade
on the
Justin
season.
Fields, draft Bryce Young.
Yeah.
And we were very much on the field. Like, what? Like, Justin Fields was the only positive
Thing.
to your team last
Right.
year. Like, the only, you watch the game and you, like, watch Bears football. It's like, oh, they got a guy that can move. That guy can move. Seems to be electrifying. When he has the ball, he could score. But, boy, this team sucks. This team, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when they were talking about trading him to get somebody else, we were all very confused. Just saying that he's going to have that massive of a jump, I think puts expectations at a place that is seemingly going to be very difficult to get to. But I think Justin Fields feels the same way.
Yeah.
With DJ Moore, that interview they gave, they seem very relaxed. He's eating fish now,
Yep,
too.
that's right.
I mean, he got
That's
fish
right.
oils in the joints. I mean, now we're really starting to roll. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, it could happen. The team probably not good enough because MVP almost always. I can't think of a time that anyone's won MVP with a team that wasn't in the playoffs, and like it seems kind of unlikely. All right, so I haven't done this yet this year. I just realized this. This is something that I'm normally on. I'll have to take my preseason reads on the Chiefs. Getting to know that Chris Jones and Travis Kelce are actually out is a huge advantage for making this. It won't change too much, but that's the only thing that I'm gonna bend. I'm gonna change them from 12-5 to 11-6 because I expect that's going to cost them at least one game, if not more. If Chris Jones doesn't get resolved quickly, then it's going to be more. All right, let's see. We've got Patriots, Jets, Bills, Dolphins. All right, Steelers, Browns, Bengals, Ravens. We've got Jaguars, Titans, Colts, Texans, Chiefs, Raiders, Chargers, and Bucking Broncos. Then we have Cowboys. This is no particular order. Just still going to do Redskins because they're probably going to come back to that. A lot of people are petitioning for it to come back. Fine, I'll do Commanders if you insist. You insist. Packers and Bears. Worst division in the entire league is here. Doesn't look right. That doesn't look right either. I gotta know now. 2 C's, 2 E's. Okay. Panthers going to real suck, especially with Frank Reich at the coach. 49ers, Rams, Cardinals are clearly throwing it in, and Seahawks. All right. So cream of the crop. Let's go 14-3 here. Super strong team. I think the Seahawks are going to be fantastic. They're strong everywhere. They've got a fantastic defense. And they have the 2 cakewalks that they're going to be playing all year. Start like that. We'll give Cardinals 1 win just because it's more likely that they do than they don't. Stafford, maybe no Cooper Kupp. Rams are going to bleed out after doing that full investment on the Super Bowl. This is the part that was like, hey, we gave up all of our resources. Now we're going to rebuild. They don't have any draft picks, any draft capital to go with. So that they're going to start rebuilding that. But now after you go through this like glut, right, the trough after the win, you should amass a decent amount of picks and resources here. Panthers. Defense is okay. Bad coach. So we got to give them 3-14. Buccaneers could be like somewhat competitive. Baker Mayfield's okay. Defense should be fine. Some of the skill guys are fine, but they did lose a lot of talent around everywhere. And I think they're going to have to deal with the loss of the quarterback. Now, Saints going to benefit from the weakness that's there. I can't really give these guys much more than this. I called this the weakest division, and I'm still giving them like this many wins. I don't know. Maybe that's a good sign for them. 8 and 9. This is drafting right now. We're assuming. Now, the Lions, the hype is real. 11-6 would be a success for them. I don't think the Vikings can replicate what they had last year. Giants look like they're really strong. Now, this division is insane. So is this one. So is this one. The question is whether or not they play each other. Patriots schedule. We played the NFC East last year. Which division are we playing? So we've got the random. No, we are playing the East. Oh, I thought we played them last year. All right, so this will keep the records fairly neutral, but this will be duking it out. We play against the Steelers, Broncos. This is the 3rd place schedule. Where are the other teams? Raiders. Is it the Broncos division? We have the Chiefs as well. Yeah, we do. All right, so we play against the NFC West. Patriots play against the NFC West, and here. So that means these guys get to ride free. They should have some really strong teams here. Bengals. No, you know what? They still have a problem with this offensive line. Defense isn't spectacular either. Titans could like quietly be okay. They're decent everywhere. Just gonna go 9 and 8. Colts. The crazy thing about the Colts, they're getting out of under the shadow of Frank Reich. Now the problem is if Jonathan Taylor doesn't play, but this team has supreme talent. Zaire Franklin, Shaquille Leonard, DeForest Buckner. They still have dogs on defense. They could easily be good, but it looks like people just kind of don't want to play here anymore, and that's a big problem. Plus, they're going to go through the learning curve of Anthony Richardson. So I'm going to put them 6 and 11. Now, Texans, I'm also putting 6 and 11. I think this team is better than people give credit. All right, we're going to assume Chris Jones is actually out for a while, and Travis Kelce has a tough time coming back. Raiders look like they're going to be pretty weak. They could be okay. Chargers, the pieces are there. They should be good, but they just can never seemingly get past the Chiefs. Broncos, okay at best. 8 and 9. Do we have enough to give all these guys winning records? There's no way, right? Because right now everything's too high, right? So we're +3, 4, 9, 12. I mean, let's just find out what the total amount of wins is first, and then we'll drop off. This is the very optimistic path. I think Jordan Love's got it. I think this team's going to do it, which means that we're probably going to have like a 3-way tie here. And that probably means also that the Bears just can't win enough games. All right, Giants look really solid. Commanders have a bad head coach. They have a good team, and it looks like Sam Howell's really legit, and they have a good defense, so they may even be better than this. Eagles are stacked. Cowboys are stacked. Patriots, I think, are going to be the big surprise, and Bill Belichick gets Coach of the Year for this record. Dolphins, do they have it? Jalen Ramsey getting hurt was such a shot in the nuts for them. I can't give everyone 10 wins. That's too crazy. All right, let's see. Ooh, nope. All right. +3, 8, 11, 12, 15, 16, 21, 24. I can't have this many divisions with, it's just impossible. Someone's going to have the loss. 24, 29, 30, down to 20, 23, 26, 25, 20, 34, 33, 36, 45, 42, 43, 46, 41, 30, those wash, 15, 22. So I have 22 too many wins. We have to take away 11 wins here. All right, so where's it going to come from? It's going to have to come from people fighting each other in divisions. 1. 2. 3. 4. 5. Too many 10 and 7s. 6. 7. 8. 9. Sorry, guys. 10. One more. Where's it going to come from? This murderer's row. Like, the fact that all these teams have to play each other, they're playing each other twice, and they're playing the other division that's stacked. There's no way that these records, it has to come out from here. The schedules are just too tough. All right, I'm gonna take away from the Patriots, but I do think that the Patriots are a fantastic team, and they could easily outperform this if they recreate the Aaron Hernandez, Gronkowski offense with Bill O'Brien that they get with Mike Gesicki and Hunter Henry. Totally possible. Two pretty similar guys to Gronk and Hernandez. Especially Gesicki there, and Hernandez is pretty solid. Defense is top 3. And the scheme is fantastic, and they're figuring out how to do it. We went over earlier what the design's going to be. Yeah, you know what? I don't even want to take it away from them. I think we find a way to make this team fold. I think Josh Allen is going to get a little bit more banged up this year. So holy moly, this means that we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 teams in the playoffs. Bills not in the playoffs. My goodness. 5, 6, 7, except one of these is going to get bumped out. One of these 10 and 7 teams is going to get cut out so that the Saints can make it in. Maybe we're still a year away from the Falcons. I just want to give them this record because of how. Yeah, here we go. This is more realistic. All right, we're going to put it in ink. Cardinals 0-17, 3 wins for the Panthers. We've got the same for the Rams. This is maybe too harsh for the Rams, but they really have given up so much talent everywhere. Stafford's not young. If he gets knocked out, this team fumbles completely. Cardinals are not even trying to win. Okay, let's do it. Stamped 9/8 September 8 2023. This is what we're going with. Patriots gonna make it. Who's gonna cross out? So let's see. Now the rest we have to do is the brackets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 teams at 10 with double-digit wins. Oof. So 2 of these teams would get knocked out. It'd be tough to say. I'm kind of leaning on this getting bumped. Bengals. I mean, Bengals have a good roster. They've got plenty of guys. They're just still a hole on that offensive line. Like this Jamar Chase thing, I think they would have been fine. If they'd gotten Penei Sewell, I think they would have potentially like a number 1 offense. But, you know, Burrow and Chase, they just get it. They get it. So, you know, who knows if they recreate it. But T. Higgins is Chris Carter. They've got the Randy Moss light, and Chris Carter and Tyler Boyd is James Jett. So they basically can recreate the 98 Vikings. Is it 98? I want to say it's 98. Chris Carter, Randy Moss, Jake Reed, rookie. Yep, Robert Smith, right? Similar to Joe Mixon. Is T. Higgins, yeah, T. Higgins is Chris Carter reincarnate. Jamar Chase is a light version of Randy Moss. Tyler Boyd for Jake Reed. Yep, this just makes a lot of sense, except for the offensive line is worse. The Vikings offensive line is better. I think this is the team that went 15-1, right? 15-1 and then lost to the Falcons kind of inexplicably in the playoffs. John Randall, explosive. I mean, the similarities on this team is kind of insane. Now, there's another guy. Who's the other guy that was on this team on the line? John Randall was interior. It's not any of these names. I'm trying to think. I thought it was a Hall of Fame guy. I'll have to look it up. Looking at the 90s, Dwayne Clemens, Jerry Ball, Derek Alexander, John Randall, Ben Williams, Tony Williams. Okay, no, I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, the similarities between these teams are pretty insane. Game by game. All right. Win, loss, win at home, loss in Miami. I think we're going to match up pretty poorly against this team. Maybe tight ends versus not as good linebackers. Maybe we can make this happen. Colts should be a win. There's probably a win, loss. Win, loss, win, loss. And then, yeah, I mean, we could easily have that kind of better than 50-50 record. This would be a huge deal if we could win this first game. All right, that's going to be it for me. Catching out. heading out, getting the kids up. Have a nice weekend, guys. I'll catch you next time. Monday, Macro Monday, we're going to be going over something. All right, we'll go over some kind of position, probably support roam timers. We haven't talked about that in a while. But if there's something that you want to look at, make sure to check out and let me know. Leave me a comment, and I'll catch you next time. All right, peace.